Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's talk about some of the most important prayers do I know of ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA. This was written in Brihad Upanishad by Maharishi Yajnavalkya. And I give respect to this in the prayer of forms to move on. Let me tell you that ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA means let me lead from untruth to the truth. And anyone who knows the truth, Satya, completely, is the one who can know impeccable wisdom. But we all start with untruths, our ignorance, inertia, and otherwise. From how we move from there to the truth is a great spiritual science journey altogether. From unknown to known, unexplored to explored, to unrecognized to recognized, reach the level from zero to DIVYANK is something which I do know. And I am glad that in the process of learning from zero to DIVYANK, I have learned that how I was ignorant to start with and how I started learning truthfully, not as a copy of something which is written by somebody else, but as something which I perceive is fine. Maybe in the last video when I said Aditi, me and my sinner soul Aditi were unconsciously, subconsciously together before initiation into simplified Kundalini Yoga. But after into simplified Kundalini Yoga, I became a conscious of Aditi within me, and that became the voice of silence. A dialogue between me and the voice of silence was very clear from particularly from 1995 till today. At his super conscious journey of knowing something perfectly step by step from 1995 till today and hereafter. In the process, this particular video is how I learned to understand the untruth and truth and eliminate all the defects step by step to come to the truth which is ultimate DIVYANK. And that is what I want to show to the world. If we want to unite the world together, we need this particular statement that all the work I know of as available in the world till 2015 before DIVYANK, I would call it a Satya. But DIVYANK is a Satya which is applied to all the 64 arts and sciences. This is a core value, and with that I move on to the next level of explaining the application of DIVYANK in almost every aspect of the universal consciousness, which is perfect, integrated, and to the core. This is the statement with which I am starting this particular video again. But that has been the case of Asatya to Sat throughout my life. Now, as I say, the concept of impeccable wisdom of Akhand Vidyashram are founded by my personal spiritual science experiences only, and integrated divine mathematical conviction, which I make it again and again. If we want the world to be understood perfectly with impeccable wisdom, it has to be in the light of divine mathematics, not man-made concepts, not in philosophy, not in belief, not in religions, not in something which we do not see in the perfect things around the world one by one. And I am now making it conscious clear, I am here for impeccable wisdom, preferably which is known all over the universe, particularly the world, in a precise, in this particular thing. Focus will be only where there is uniformity between the West and India, North and South, where there is conviction of something which nobody can deny it. From that angle, I have moved on. As I have also been saying very clearly, Akhand Vidyashram does not copy someone at all unless until there is a need to explain that in the light of divine mathematics, impeccable wisdom on the whole. And I also make it very clear that it is Shunya, the zero from which the creation was started, how we have moved from there to DIVYANK step by step is something which need to be understood so that we have no difficulty in any conviction whatsoever. And wherever I see DIVYANK, there I see consistency, where there is perfection, where the impeccable wisdom is what I am trying to talk about, not something which is confusing. Now, the truth is ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA. Let me, God, Ishwar, Paramatma, whatever the name person doesn't really matter. Lead me from untruth to truth is what is the meaning of this particular thing. Now, two things I am standing out. Many people have been asking me to make videos in different languages, particularly Hindi, because I come from India. But I do believe I am using Sanskrit language conviction as the base and trying to talk to the people in English, which is international language today. Sanskrit is perfect. English is not perfect. I agree. There are 52 aksharas in Sanskrit, only 26 in English. But I know English also, there is a British English, there is Indian English, there is American English, otherwise. I am trying to consist to something where I can explain Sanskrit perfect. In English, which everybody can understand, there may be many of the words of Sanskrit being used in English, which is internationally in English anyway. Many Sanskrit words have become part of English itself. And let's start something where the English itself is as perfect as required, and particularly in the line of something which is divine mathematics, DIVYANK, and also the symbols which cannot be denied about anything, which is perfect to the core from day one till today, is also the language which I am talking about. Mantras are perfect where Gayatri stands out. Yantra also where the Gayatri or other things stand out. That's a beautiful language even by the science. And Tantra is the physical body of the human body, as well as solar system, as well as spiral galaxy, as well as higher self. There is DIVYANK again. And again, Ganit Vidya is DIVYANK. These four things are the one where the unity, uniformity, consistency, that is going to be the matter. So from that, untruth to the truth is one thing, and foundation of human mind is truth. The one who is in tune with universal consciousness, his senses will be perfect, his mind will be perfect, he will know the concept. So having a perfect mind, eliminating defects is more important, not killing the mind with the drugs or anything for that matter. It is not to stop the fluctuation mind. It is to understand all the difficulties, bring the mind to be intelligent, bring the mind to be intuitive, and move on to higher consciousness is the truth which I am talking about. So mind is important. Let's consider Patanjali Yoga's Ashtanga Yoga is to control the fluctuation mind, which are root cause of the defects. That is Kaleshas. Only the mind, then all the Kaleshas can be eliminated only when we are talking of truth. The first virtue, in my opinion, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra itself is truth alone. And second thing is ahimsa, non-violence. And one thing we will talk as we move on. Here it is a truth first virtue which is in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is also in Akhand Yoga as such. The whole fiber of entire universal consciousness has to be truth of the impeccable wisdom, nothing like that. There is nothing called relative truth. It has to be absolute truth. Relative to relative truth will always be a confusion. But impeccable wisdom has to be absolute truth, where everything is seen in that light without any confusion whatsoever. And that is what has DIVYANK helped me to know this is the perfect, everything else is imperfect. And I'm just trying to share it, my experiences, for my love, for myself, and leave it at that. This is not being done for any individual as such. This is for universal truth, for the people who want to be truthful, conscientious, perfect, unite the world. It is for them. Anyone who does not want to unite the world, does not want perfect thing, it is not meant for them. It doesn't really matter. And in the process of truth, I also know, believe that divine is truth, and we are also truthful. We have been made in the same image. Once we believe we are in the image of the God, we will be as truthful as the God itself. And that has to have the bhakti yoga, a yoga of devotion towards the Creator who created everything so perfectly. I have not created, not anybody else has created. Nature has done, and that is the divine mathematics. First stage of creation, 22 by 21, 10 stage of development, and 0.344 last stage of maturation, which is Divyank all about. This is also not known to the world, as that number till 2015 is also the reality. Only the perfect human beings who are trying to understand divinity as such would move on. But the fibers of Divyank were found in many of the Shastras of Sanskrit. Again, I found them in Sanskrit scriptures, not in any other scripture, not in any other translation. So that's why Sanskrit becomes source which gave me the knowledge, and I'm trying to explain that in English language for everybody, when of course other languages, but understanding English, knowing the symbolic language, knowing the mantra language, knowing the tantra language, knowing the Ganit language is absolutely essential for everyone. From that, now let's go back to the oldest scripture in the world is Rig Veda. That verse 10, Nisidhya, the very first symbol which I have underlined is represent ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA. That means Asat and Sat are the two sides of the same coin are there. Ignorant person does not know, and why would listen? There will always be a description. People say, person who says I know the truth does not know the truth. Person who says he does not know the truth, silence is gold. And I find silence is not gold. And person who knows should be expressive enough to explain systematically, which I can do. That does not mean I am arrogant or have megalomania or I am misleading the world. I am only saying once you know it, insist on that, move on. So many dialogues I have heard since childhood about Satya and Asat is been very, very confusing. And here I say, I know the Sat, and that is Divyank. Everything perfect is there. Core is Satya, and as far as relative world is concerned, is ignorant, is not as perfect as the perfection of the core. So let's put it this particular thing as that central core is Sat and peripheral is not so perfect. Let us put it that way. Let's not call it wrong. It is not a vidya. It's not wrong knowledge. It's a knowledge which we have not explored to understand. It is explored, and let me leave it at that. That's a statement I have always been making. There's nothing wrong in the world. Till we understand it is avidya, agyan, we are ignorant. The day we become perfectly known, that perfection comes, then even imperfection becomes perfection, because you are seeing in the light of that, and you see that integrating thread is everywhere thing. Some realize, some not realize. Let's move out of the dialogue of making other person look smaller or bigger. For me, everyone has the potential of knowing the truth. If you have not known the truth, it is not the fault of human beings. It is the fault of the language and the subject and the matter which has been given to the world by the authors beforehand. Unless until we know all the 64 arts and sciences completely, we cannot really know absolute truth of impeccable wisdom, Divyank at all. And that is the matter in Rig Veda, the very first line of verse 10. I think that is amazing. Let's start from there. Now, examples of truth which I always say have helped me to understand things very clearly. First thing right on top is Om Tat Sat. Even in the picture in the beginning, I put a dot on top, which is sixth thing. Then Om, then only I have written about ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA. Here Om is that truth, is something, is a Greek statement, and I make it clear. Person who knows Om, that means Akara Yukara, Makara, which is made of 777 parts, and Turiya, which is the 22nd part. Once that Om, which I designed more than 50 years ago, which is there in the first one, once you know that, that is the absolute truth, that is the divine nature, that is what has led me to Divyank. Second thing, Satyamev Jayate is a big statement in India about truth is victory all the time. Everything else will fail, but truth will always remain the same. Every truthful person is going to win, and he or she has nothing to worry about. Next statement, Satya Gyan Manat Brahman. That means person who is truthful honestly. The only person who is completely truthful, not even sick idea of asatya of any nature for any purpose, only that person can be in tune with Brahman. That means Nirankar, Nirgun Brahman, Asakar, Sargun Brahman. If you have to know, the first foundation has to be based only on Satya, and that Gyan can only take you to Brahman. Anything other than Satya cannot take you. In all the places, even Gayatri Mantra, Mahanarayani Gayatri Mantra, starts with Satya only to that extent. Then Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Then again I make it very clear. The person who is truthful is like a Shiv, pure, and he is the only one who is beautiful. Everything else is not as beautiful as truthful Shivam, mean who knows the universe as such. He has to be perfect Brahman, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Dattatri, all the gods and goddesses of Sanatana Dharma, they are all truthful, honest in itself. But when they are put together as Divyank, then you understand all are integral part. There is nothing bigger and small. Brahma has a role of first stage of creation, 10th stage of development is Dasavatar, and 0.344 are the Panchabhutas of Shiva to complete it, and that is what it is all about. I cannot say Brahma is wrong, or Vishnu is wrong, or this is, unless and you understand all the three along with the Tatriya. Four you understand. Similarly, when you understand Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and Durga, and all the gods and goddesses of that, only then you will find each one is a class by themselves. But when put together, only then they become perfect, and that is impeccable wisdom, one by one. Then comes to the statement of the greatest thing which I have realized, Pindandam Brahmandam Ekam. It's also something which I have written down, Aham Brahmasmi, I am like God. That even human body is made of 10 chakras, solar system is made of 10 heavenly bodies, and spiral galaxy is also made of 10 suns. And actually it's 10.34419, which I am very clear. The knowledge of 22 by 21 was given in Upanishads. 10 sages of development, Dasavatar is well known, Brahma and Vishnu were well known to me also before in 2002 book on Akhand itself. But 0.3441, I realized only once I understood that is not 7 chakras, but 10 chakras within the body, and that made me to this 0.34419, and also made me produce 8 Hz frequency throughout the brain with eyes open, senses open, and be in Akash with Akash Kosh. I think that has realized slowly and steadily by 2015. That journey I have already explained, and everybody can do it. If Shibhushan Sharma can do it, I am sure every human being who is totally truthful, not a relative truth, but absolute truth, impeccable wisdom, would experience it, because I do not find myself to be any different from any other human being thing. But I am purely Satyavadi, truthful, honest, non-violent, and I want the whole world to unite with impeccable wisdom. I think the journey, the niyat to have perfection within me and share the perfection worth has brought me to this length, and I am doing it only for my love, because I want to be in perfect world, and share it for the love of anything who wants to be perfect, then come to this. Not doesn't really matter. Then I made a last video also, There are Saptarishis. Out of Saptarishi, only one Rishi which is very important to me is Kashyap, because he is the one who is married to King Daksha of Rigved's 13 daughters. Out of that, 2 daughters, Aditi and Diti, are the most important, and I say Aditi is the one who produced gods and Diti who produce Rakshasas, and they are the one within ourselves and truthfully, honestly. And I follow only Aditi, which is a truthful divine consciousness of helium for itself. I think that has made a difference super consciously after 1995. Before that, unconscious, subconsciously, I was again following truth only because of my life of so many janmas, following truth by and large. As I told you, this is the one who formed Kashmir Valley, and Diti and Aditi, which I told you, was the thing I listened to my Atma, and that is the truthful part of universal consciousness, is guiding me towards the truth without any difficulty since my childhood. All the answers came from Aditi or the helium 4, my Antaratma or Kundalini by and large. This is what I have told you. This is the one soul which gives me. This is the knowledge which gave it to me, and based on my knowledge which I got from Aditi, and that is the base of Aham Brahmasmi, me and my Antaratma are one. That is Advait philosophy. Me and universal consciousness one. Once you come to that, you will have that kind of knowledge based on Advait itself. That's it. But within the Advait, there is always Dvait. Shibhushan Sharma is separate from God. But I also know Shibhushan Sharma is one, Jivatma, Antaratma is Aditi, and Paramatma is other divine souls. All the things put together are the one which Tret Paravidya, third philosophy which I talk about it, shows. Shibhushan Sharma is the one, medium is Aditi, Brahma Setu, which Brahma Sutra also talks about it, and universal consciousness is Brahman, so Brahman within Brahman and a Brahman Tret Paravidya, and that is where philosophy of Tret Paravidya is. Shibhushan Sharma, Aditi, and universal consciousness. Maybe call it Gayatri, you call it Adi Parashakti, whatever it is. Everything which is perfect, soul consciousness, different phases are well known. I have explained that. Now come to the question of the sun. I do know anyone who follows sun is a very good guru, knowledgeable person on the external world, the person which we can see very clearly. Now I am coming to the person who believes sun is the one who is a real guru. You are enlightened because sun will tell you how to be disciplined, how to be perfect, how to start in time, go and learn to give and give, not get and gut. Anyone who has the qualities of sun within that person who follows sun would become, and that is exactly what Gayatri mantra is, Tat Savitur Varenyam. Person who believes in sun, that light of sun will enlighten me with all the wisdom of the entire universe. I think that is a great thing. And here I have shown Aditya is hydrogen, the most common element in the entire universe. Second most common thing is helium 4, which is Aditi, is the second, is also reality. This is the first start of the period. Hydrogen and helium are only two things in the first periodic table. Only two groups and only first line. That is anyone who understands these two would be the perfect, because that is the soul of the entire universe. In every way, it is Aditya and Aditi. You should be your gurus. Now, statement of Aditya in Chandogya Upanishad is clear. Is the one who knows everything. He represents the entire universe. Is only Aditya. And I think that has made me understand how sun can be your guru, because that is only thing you need to know. You can see outside completely. Now Aditi and Aditya's combination I have seen. It is hydrogen and helium in the core at 6 certain the temperature, which can give you the perfect one with which it is produced, so it cannot be dissolved or disintegrated at all. So this will remain your soul, Kan Sharira, for generation to generation. So reincarnation, also what you have learnt in one life, you will never forget in next life, because everything is there within that. And impressions of what has happened is also in Akash Kosh. The person who is in with Aditi, Aditi will take you to the same 8 hertz frequency throughout the brain in all the 64 parts automatically, basically because once you start thinking of perfection, you become perfect. Now this is something which again I've shown you. Within the sun, you have 4 hydrogen which unite together to form helium. So this is the first step, that Aditya is formed from helium-4. Same helium-4 leads to hydrogen again. That cycle is what is written as Aditi is the mother and daughter of Aditya itself. I think that is something which also science has made me understand that both Aditi the daughter, Aditi the mother are well within the sun, and nuclear scientists of the world with a proton-proton nuclear reaction within the core have shown this is the universal consciousness. This is what I am making. Sanskrit language had concept and explained by the modern sciences of nuclear nature. This is a beautiful combination of the West science or scientific world on the large and Indian Sanskrit language. When I say science, I still give a credit to the West much more than the East. India did not contribute much to the scientific exploration the way the West has done it. Let us accept. So credit should go to the scientists of the West, particularly nuclear scientists. They have done a wonderful job of subatomic particles and beautiful work. Hats up to them. They made my job much easier to explain this concept in that light. That is a combination of West and East which I am talking about. Now come to the East. It's the Maharishi Yajnavalkya. I consider him the first spiritual scientist of the world. He goes back to Ramayana era and he has spoken about divine mathematics. That thing I do not see in any other Rishi as precise, concise as I see in Yajnavalkya. Similarly, when somebody asks me which is the best period in the world should have, and I say it's not democracy, it is not Ramayana, it is not Ram Rajya, it should be Rajya of Kanak, Janak, King Janak, Sita's father and Ram's father-in-law was the greatest king because he consisted of organizing scientific conferences on Brahman and other things at every regular interval. And in his Raj, only Yajnavalkya explained the dialogue between him and Gargi and other things to show what Brahman is all about it. So that concept and his books and other things, including Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, which is a version of Yajurveda, and many other things for that matter. ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA is by him only in Brihad Upanishad. So that way he deserves the respect as the greatest and King Janak as the greatest king. Let us go to that where we give importance to goodness of everything without any controversy whatsoever. It was Janak alone. I would give much more importance to Janak thing because he gave freedom to all the people, very loving government, well taken at every level, including taking to the universal consciousness of the kind which is not heard in any other kingdom of the world. Let's accept the fact. Now he was very fond of Surya, so his guru is Surya, very clear. He is also the Savitri, he is also Saraswati, he is also Om. I think speaks that he is the one who knew the universal consciousness very clearly. That means he was so honest that he knew from the very beginning that no man can be his guru. It has to be only universal consciousness of Surya on one side, Savitri on one side, Saraswati on one side, and Om on the other side. These are the one who taught him what to have the impeccable wisdom 5,000 years ago during King Jan's life itself. And that beauty is seen in Brihad Upanishad beautifully. Now his statement, by and large, that Purnam Adha Purnam Idham Purna Purna Drishe. This particular statement shows that whole concept of perfection lies only in Purnam or Sampurnam, and that is where infinity comes, that is where zero comes, and I think that is what made me understand clearly. Anyone who can understand this shloka would know the whole universal consciousness, the impeccable wisdom, started from zero or shunya from the very beginning itself. I think that has been enlightening part in ASDO MA. What was ASDO? As shunya, which people did not know what it is, but everything started from there. But unless until you have the wisdom to know shunya as such, that it has all the ingredients of perfection within thee. Everything starts from shunya, is maintained by shunya, is dissolved into shunya, is something which is there. I think that is a big statement which you can call it asatya for others because they are not understood. But all the satya is there inside. That exploration from shunya to divyank has made me give the world, and thanks to Maharishi Yajnavalkya, Brihad Upanishad, this particular statement of starting from shunya. It is not Aryabhata who invented zero. It was shunya in Rigved itself, and this is a clear cut as far Brihad Upanishad is concerned by Maharishi Yajna as ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA. The ASDO is shunya. Satya is what DIVYANK is all about. And I told you that divine mathematics, everybody says every number divided by same number equals to 1. But Purna means 0 divided by 0 is 0. So the beauty of 0 is explained beautifully in this particular concept. And many people, including Ramanujan, Shibhushan Sharma, and I'm sure there are thousands and thousands of people in the world who have always given this example that 0 divided by 0 is 0, not 1. And I say anyone who's tuned with the Antaratma, the soul will tell you this is the truth. It is not the number which is 1, but it is 0. And that is Purnam. And I think there are many, many people where people have made, Ramanujan has made, I have made, and many people have made. And this is what ultimate consciousness is. How we have moved on from that to the next level, I think is a journey of many people who are honestly truthful. But know that zero is untruth. It's not untruth is wrong. It is avidya which we are ignorant. But this is where it starts. Now, there comes to the question of first 40 years, I had no idea where I was getting the information from. Data, information, knowledge was from within me. I knew it very well. That is, as a result, I have an extremely exemplary academic performance of the highest nature at every board examination, and I'm sure it will be impossible for somebody to break my records as on today in the world in academic marks the way moving on. We are no more moving where difference with the highest position in the boards and university is, and the second in the board, you would have 5-6% difference. Now I have fraction, but I have got more than 5 to 6% and many more even earlier. But board where is uniform thing examined by people who do not know anybody. I think that examination is more important. Your examination does not know you at all, and that is board examinations. Leave it at that. Now, from 1995, the first question which I came to the voice of silence is, you have made me understand animate form of Gayatri and other gods very clearly. You have made me to convert that into semi-animate form, which you can see in the left side of Akhand beautifully. But if you can make me convert same graphic presentation of Gayatri with lotus, which is 12, are also 10 arms of Gayatri as such, and also the 5 heads as such in a graphic presentation which is totally inanimate. Only mathematics, only geometry, and nothing other than that is totally inanimate the way the scientific world is. Because most of the people have a problem with animate form of symbols. They think, how can God be a man, a woman as such? I have no problem, but world has. For their sake, I wanted to say, you are the Antaratma, you are Aditi, you are Kundalini, you know everything. Now you have made me in tune with universal consciousness, you have made me 8 hertz frequency throughout the brain. You have given me all the knowledge, I believe you have. And how this particular symbol was formed thereafter with the guidance of Aditi, once again I am going to show you that. Now they say making of 9 digits, I have put sun in the middle, and same, that is a dot, which is avidya or gyan, or the 0 or the dot. Now I am putting as the sun as such. Sun is in the middle. Then there is a circle, which is circle or spherical, which is the expansion of the same thing into larger part. But that is converted into 9 parts, 9 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see it very clearly. This is a picture which was drawn by me with the assistance from Aditi as such. Second thing was told, the most important number in the universal consciousness is 7 only. Honest, occult number is 7. When 1 is divided by 7, it is equivalent to 0.142857 only. When 0.142857, and we connect the same number from 1 to 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 8, 8 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 1, you create picture which you can see here. So you have 6 numbers plus sun as the 7 number, which is a truthful consciousness. Sun plus 6 make the most important universal occult number, which I realize after making this. It is sun plus 6 planets on the whole make it to 7 days, and that is the most important part. That is what I am going to show you thereafter. But I also added a triangle, which is Shakta triangle between 3, 6 and 9 to make it into 10 parts. Then added a female triangle to that to complete it, that without male and female put together in a completion. West knows only up to male as a god, does not know as a female. The first enneagram, the one which I showed you last time, is the enneagram, but this is something which is perfect, which I have understood the beauty of 10, 11 and 12. So literally Dasavatar right up to this is there into this particular consciousness, which made me really, what wonderful thing. When that finally converted into this particular picture, I find there are 52 parts in this, and that is what Sanskrit is. 7 levels of Sanskrit: Mooladhar to Swadhisthana to Nabhi to Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi and Ajna. How it goes to make 52 letters, I have already explained. I think that made me understand how beautiful is Vigyan Chakra as such, and how 52 letters are known, how Sanskrit is perfect, how they have vowels and consonants are designed perfection to the core, and the combination which we can create, I thought was a wonderful, enlightening experience for me. Now come to the question of another example which I say. Modern science says that pi is 3.141592 etc. with infinite number of digits. What modern mathematician concept is talking about is wrong. And I do know Akhand Sutra says 3.142857 is a perfect one, and continue to have 142857. This is something. And I am glad to admit again, a Chinese mathematician also 1000 years ago had declared that particular number is 142857 only, not any other number, and I make it clear it is 3.142857. Same pi combination was given even Maharishi Yajnavalkya and Shivbhushan Sharma, making it crystal clear that this is the second thing which is infinite number, but it should be only up to 6. Now coming to the very precise concept of showing a uniformity between the West and the East. There are zodiac signs, but as far as the 7 days of the concerned are only 7 days throughout the world same. Same Sunday, same Monday, same Tuesday, same Wednesday, same Thursday, same Friday, same Saturday. There is uniformity in the West and the East. In English and Indian concept, there is no difference. All over the world had only 7 days, nothing other than that. And as I've written that international identical divine nature of 7 days a week makes me clear it is most statement, perfect statement in the world. There is no disagreement on the fact these are 7 days and these are only 7 planets which are important. Sunday comes with sun. Now come to the question. When I say sun is the god, Surya, a source of all the information, the picture which comes in this particular picture is sun with 7 horses. The center one is the sun, other 6 are there. But how beautiful is this? It's a graphic presentation of something which I say fantastic. Now come to the question of 7 planets. As you can see, you have sun in the center, you have moon on top, you have Mars, you have Mercury, you have Jupiter, you have Venus, you have Saturn. This is sun is the center, surrounded by 6 is what I put in the first picture also. Sun to this are the 7 days which are important. Now let's understand why these 7 planets are only one which is considered. Let's see them first. Sun is a Sunday, is very well known. India, Ravivar is Ravi, and Sunday is such. Leave it. That's perfect synchronicity, absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Monday is moon, is a Monday, whether India, Somvar, or the West, Monday is exactly moon alone. Sun is the moon is a moon, mind and power. Tuesday is Mars, as you can see in this particular thing, is only Tuesday, and Mangal in India is again Mars only. Then Mercury is Wednesday. Mercury is the one which is the first planet after Sun. Understood? And it is hermaphrodite, whereas Mars is a male. This is neutral or like a Kanya fertile. Then comes the Thursday, it is Jupiter which is Guru, and similarly in India it's Thursday which is called Guruvar. Jupiter is a Guru, is again something which teaches us the same uniformity you can see. I think it's amazing. Now to come to the Venus, which is Shukra. In India is Venus, Shukracharya, and Friday is again Venus. I think that is amazing on the whole. When come to the Saturn, it is Saturday. I think again this is Shanivar, which is Saturday. Same thing with Saturn and Saturn. Now I have seen, having seen all the 7 on the whole. Now I am asking a question. Why there is uniformity? Why people have not mistaken those 7 things completely, their uniformity? But I do know, when I ask this question to anybody and everybody, what is the wisdom in these 7 days, which is something which world has not recognized? And I'm sorry to say, nobody gave the answer. And the answer which I was given by my Aditi was, these are the only 7 planets which every human being around the world living in west, north, east, south can see moving in the universe. You can see sun moving, you can see moon moving, you can see all these planets moving very clearly. But at this particular juncture also, let me tell you, sun is the middle. It moves in a clockwise around itself in 22 years. This is one thing which is very clear. But when earth moves around the sun in anti-clockwise, similarly Moon goes around the earth in anti-clockwise. Similarly, our chakras move in clockwise for energizing and anti-clockwise in reducing energy. So as a result, when I go around in Navagraha or temples, I go on the right side, but last one I make it back so that I do not suffer. And also the wisdom which I talked about it. It's better to walk in circle of 8 so that your left or right is not used or unused. It should go on such a way that positive and negative should go on side by side. That is the knowledge I think we need, and what is perfect is what I'm talking. Now, having understood that, let's move on to the next stage of spiritual science. Now we are talk of the 12 zodiacs, 12 rashis. India tells the 12 rashis and West it talks the zodiac. But this is again, they represent 7 auspicious days. Let us explore, recognize the truth once again. Now, here you have 12 rashis are Indian ones, 12 zodiacs, and 7 planets again with same Mars, same Venus, same Mercury, same Moon, same Sun, again Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn and Jupiter. Is only 7, nothing more, nothing less. And zodiac signs also has the same thing. But at the same time, when talk of Mars is a male symbol, Venus is a female symbol, Mercury is a hermaphrodite, Moon is a mind, Sun is the energy, and Jupiter is the intelligence, and Saturn is absolute wisdom. I think once this is understood, which I have explained, we know how consistent is the knowledge of the West and North, and that is the wisdom. We have to give credit to everybody who has done it. I think that is amazing. Now, in this particular thing, I am showing 7 planets, 7 days, and 12 rashis. You see, Sun is the center, has only one rashi called Leo. That's amazing because Leo is only one Sun. Then Moon, it is only Cancer. These two have got only one rashi, one zodiac, and one rashi each. But when come to other 5, have got two rashis as such, and that makes 2 into 5 is 10 and 2 12. So uniformity is known. But at the same time, these 5 are again either male, either a female, either hermaphrodite, either the intelligence or wisdom. I think that also speaks volumes about how they were designed, and there is a consistency in it. But unfortunately, that information is not given to the world the way it should have been given, and that is the knowledge which I am sharing. Things once you know how beautiful they are, and that duty is given to me to show the impeccable wisdom which people have not written about it. Even science, many of the concepts are not declared at all what it means, and we need to explain the concept only then we understand the impeccable wisdom. That is my work all about. Now there comes the question of Sun is an energy, so called Tat Savitur Vareniyam. Vareniyam is light, energy, impeccable wisdom. On the whole, everything from energy to the matter comes from energy alone. And that is what modern science has also said. That is something which India has also said. Then as far as Moon is concerned, it is only mind. When Mars is a male, Venus is a female, then Mercury is neutral, Jupiter is intelligence, and Saturn is wisdom. So I think now 7 foundation impeccable wisdom in that. Once you know all these things are you know the male part, you know the female part, you know the neutral part, you know the mind, you know the energy, you know the intelligence, and that is what Gita is talking about. Whole world comes through Indriya, the senses should be perfect, then Manas, then Buddhi, then intellect, then Chetana, and go on. And that is exactly is there in Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, and also something is Akhand Yoga talks about it. It also what Gita talks about it, and I'm sure entire universe is talking only about that once and last, because ultimately it's going to be that truth. Now I'm going to bring you another concept from India called Navagraha. There are 9 planets. Let's recognize the 7 days within 9 planets, because we are looking for the truth now. ASDO MA SAD GAMAYA. Now in this particular picture you can see very clearly a very fantastic Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday are the first 7 ones which I have already shown. But here there are two concepts, Rahu and Ketu. What Rahu and Ketu is, what people talk about it, negative and positive polarity of moon. I do not agree with that. And I said no. You cannot have polarities as a concept of Navagraha because they are two pictures which are concise, precise. They should represent some part of heavenly elements which are not as a part of 7 days but an equally important part in the universal consciousness. When you start exploring that, you are led by divinity, Aditi, to say when it is Rahu, it is earth element on which we are sitting. Earth is not shown as earth in Navagraha. That's it. When come to the Ketu body, it is the asteroid belt which is there between Mars and Jupiter's as a very demarcation part which I connected with. When I talk about 7 to 10 chakras, then these two become a part. Mooladhara chakra is with earth and Agnya chakra is with asteroid belt, and that has been the thing which I experienced. It is 10 chakras which made me understand this 9 plus 1 much more clearly. That's why you need to experience with universal consciousness with 10.344 chakras, not with 7 chakras, not with 6 chakras, with such chakra talking about it. I think that experience will only give you the impeccable wisdom which cannot be questioned by anybody by and large. Now I am going to show you the presiding deity is Sun. In this particular thing is Surya. Moon, Chand is the one which is the second one. Then Mangal, Mars is what I have shown in the beginning. Then you have Buddhan, Mercury as such is the one which is close to, which is more or less like neutral component. Then you have Jupiter with the planet with the intelligence is something which I have already spoken about it. And Venus is the one, Shukra, which is Vama mark, which is male and female for procreation. As simple as that. Bhumi for Bhumi Rin, this is for Pitra Rin, and rest of the thing for Dev Rin. Now Saturn is what you can see very clearly is the sense of intelligence. Saturn goes around the sun in once in 30 years, and that's the reason even Saptarishi of 2.5 into 3, 7.5 years is important. And why it is calculated is 30 divided by 12 is 2.5, and one preceding, one later is put together 7.5, and that is where this science has made me understand concept very clearly for the world. I think we need that kind of impeccable wisdom for the world to understand why Shavni is very intelligent. It can make or mar. So that's the wisdom which is there. So I would say Asatya and Satya is there in Shani. Person who is not knowledgeable could suffer. Person who is knowledgeable will not suffer. And whatever the world might say, you are going to suffer. But as far as I am concerned, I don't remember any period which has made me suffer because I know the truth and I am fully protected. And anyone who knows the truth is fully protected by Sun, because impeccable wisdom will be given by Sun to the one who is honest, truthful and otherwise. And let's leave it at that. Now comes the Ha is the head. It is not positive polarity, but is third planet called Earth on which we live. So that should be very clear कि it is Earth, and because of Earth you have this eclipses. Only sun light falling on moon is stopped by Earth alone, and I think that proves it, the concept which is given in the story form of the Rakshasa who drank the Amrit and his head was cut off as a earth and body as asteroid belt, and the two things which stand out. Now asteroid belt is concerned, is a negative polarity? No, it is asteroid belt as you can see in the picture. All the planets inside you can see a sun, you have Mercury, you have Venus, you have Earth, you have moons, you have Mars right inside, and then you have asteroid belt, and beyond which Jupiter and Saturn and others come up. I think that is very clearly picture shows. They are shown in a symbolic form of a snake, broken parts, but this is what it is, Swargaloka of even what Vishwamitra has talked about. Trishanku Loka is this only. Now in this particular picture you can see the same thing as the Brahman, the divine solar system, which scientists have given, and I think it speaks volume, because here you can see the earth, you can see the moon, and you can see asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. I think that speaks volumes. So this is clear. Once that is understood, that is where avidya to avidya comes up, agyan to gyan comes up. So this is impeccable wisdom, which I am showing with a scientific thing, which nobody can. And that is a knowledge. Once everyone in the world has it, then confusion will not be there. And confusion is out of ignorance, not of the knowledge. Knowledgeable person would be calm and quiet all the time. But ignorant person will go on breaking. Empty vessels make more noise. Full vessel will only give you the wisdom, not fight with you. We leave it at that. Now the whole thing one by one is finally converted into final truth is DIVYANK. And it is very sorry to say, till 2015 no one in the world had even recognized, conceived and revealed this particular number. It was 2015 AD by Shiv Bhushan Sharma, and when he said the first stage of creation is 22 by 21 with the scientific evidence and 10 stages of development, 0.344 as the last stage of development, and then bringing to this number, and then converting then to the graphic presentation of a yantra of the same thing beautifully. I think that is what is knowledge all about. Once we have that knowledge from Gyan or Asat to Satya in completely a picture where everyone, now I as an individual, democratic system, I do not agree, because 99.99% could be wrong, 1% will. But at the same time, I also believe there are the consistent factors all over the world which is uniform. That concept I have spoken in this particular video. What is asatya to the people? There is a satya in that, but that asatya was not explained as it is. I am trying to explain that with my experience and show the world this is the ultimate truth. And once that is understood, I think is very, very clear. You see in this particular thing, the outer orbital is made of 22 parts, and width is 21 parts, height is 22. That's it. You can see 10 pentagons with a 10 stages development, and right in the middle you can see 5 tetragons which exactly represent 34419, and the whole number put together is 1.618034. This is the most approximate decimal value of golden ratio, not 1.618 or not 1.61803397 at all. Both are wrong number which scientists and mathematicians of man-made concept have given. Both are defective. 1.61 is also defective. 1.61803397 with a multiple is also defective. Like pi is defective. So coming to the precise, concise value of this particular nature has helped me to give the impeccable, and you're going to see perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and psychology only with this number. Everything else is defective otherwise. Once you know the perfect, it's easier to recognize the defects. And I think DIVYANK has made me understand that whether it is human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology, or the solar system, or spiral galaxy, or the higher up, or the entire presentation of periodic table is also designed the same thing, and it also goes around 8. I think once all the videos, my answers in Quora, in my books and otherwise, should become the syllabus for the entire world, and that uniformity syllabus without any confusion for anyone around the world, for everybody, is what Shiv Bhushan Sharma is expecting through Akhand Vidyashram to give the impeccable wisdom completely. No wonder I am keeping it low, only because I need to do this work for many, many years to come. Let me do my job. Keep it in the public domain. Let people accept it and move on when time comes. Research needs to be done consensually thereafter. And once that starts happening, people will come to the conclusion Divyank is the ultimate truth. Asatya to Sat has come to the world only in 2015, not before that. Glimpses were seen, perfection only in Divyank. That's it. And finally, the whole thing is put into this picture where Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, everything is there in this one picture alone. I think let's leave it at that. Thank you very much.